Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and today on the Hermitcraft server, it is time to vote for mayor. All of the preference polls have been wiped out in favor of 2 voting booths. Also, all this mycelium was destroyed by some mysterious vandal. You know, I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, they seem to think that Scar's face belongs on a mountain, which I disagree with. My face belongs on a mountain. Wait, can we do that? Can we just go put my face on a mountain in Minecraft? Let's see. Okay, so then we just press F5 here. Boom! My face is on a mountain. We did it. Okay, next problem. The next problem is that we need to go figure out who we're going to vote for. Now, there are a lot of candidates, and I believe that they are all worthy of consideration in some way or another, with some exceptions. But you know what? Let's go ahead and review those. Let's go ahead and make an informed decision about who we're going to vote for. Now, before you run down a ballot in preparation to vote, you always want to take a look at what positions are open. Seems like we have a mayoral voting booth and a dog catcher voting booth that's not labeled, but the dogs kind of give it away. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk down the line and see who we should consider. Now, there's Scar. I generally like Scar, but I don't know if I like his supporters. That mountain, that vandalism was a little bit too much. A little bit too much for my taste. We have Stress Monster here of the Get Gorgeous campaign. But you know what? Get Gorgeous doesn't speak to me as a voter. I say as I mumble through a mouthful of berries, because I am gorgeous. And if you're gorgeous enough, you don't need to do things like stop eating berries while you eat or while you vote. You can just be gorgeous. So I think I'm going to pass on Stress Monster as well. Doc M77, he is my neighbor. And I like having local representation in government. However, I do worry that he's been kind of a little bit of an absentee candidate. He hasn't exactly been pounding the pavement. He didn't knock on my door, despite living next door in the election. And, like, is it really an advantage to me to have local representation if he's not really connecting with the people in the neighborhood? You know, I think I might have to pass on him as well. Here is our incredibly handsome dog catcher candidate. You know what? He's pretty great. He can eat some berries. Yep, you're so gorgeous. Eat all the berries. There you go. Nom 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 nom. Then we have this guy. I can't remember his name. He just wasn't a very remarkable candidate. Like, ooh, false symmetry. Okay. Well, you know, thinking about it, when I was stuck in the Nether last night and, you know, lost all my inventory, including my only elytra, I asked her if she could help me get the elytra, and she actually brought back everything I had dropped, which is pretty cool, you know? Doc M wasn't here to save me. Being pretty didn't help me in the first place. Vandalism, I mean, it has a time and place. It is a valid form of protest. But I don't really understand the statement that this mountain is supposed to be making. So, I think that I'm ready. I think I'm ready to vote. I think I'm going to vote for false symmetry and this gorgeous fella. So, let's go ahead. Having made our decision and considered all the candidates, do we need to review the rules? You should... Oh, this is just the rules for this thing. I was going to say, you always want to be familiar with the rules in the voting place. So it looks like there is a piece of paper that we take here. We go in. Is there an anvil? It is very hard to see. This is not a well-lit voting booth. I'm going to vote for false. I'm not experienced enough to vote in Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't consider this. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and return the ballot. We can't just walk away with a ballot. like, we'll get tackled by a election official. Okay, we need to go to the Nether and find some... This is not how we get to the Nether. We need to go to the Nether and find some of that quartz that gives you experience when you hit it with a pickaxe so that we can exercise our democratic duty on the server. We gotta get experienced. Where would they hide all the quartz in the Nether? Why wouldn't I have prepared in advance? I thought that I was all set, but it turned out that I wasn't. Does gold give you any experience? No, it don't. So let's run to the Nether. I'm still wearing just enough gold. Let's go look for some quality quartz that will be... Why? Well, folks, this gold ore I mined earlier must have been witnessed by that piglin who aggroed against me. I'm hoping that my death was sufficient to alleviate his anger. Is a bunch of my stuff down there? Of course it is. He's got a crossbow. That's not acceptable. Okay, so all I want to do is go down here and get my axe. Can I get my axe? What else did I lose? Is everything I lost, like, lost? Probably. Well, let's flee. We're gonna flee now. Okay. Where's that stairwell that I had? I had a stairwell. Okay. So, in terms of planning, maybe this is not a great example of it. This is why you have to be familiar with the local expectations regarding electoral qualification. If you want to be franchised, you gotta know the rules. And I did not know I was gonna need 2 levels of experience, but look, we got them. We got them, and we lost a bunch of iron tools in the process. Iron tools that would have been gone anyway if False hadn't saved our inventory in the Nether earlier. So you know what? False has still got my vote. My decision has not been changed by my own inability to retain the gains that False delivered. Or to return the property that False restored. I don't know. Either way, we have 2 levels of experience. It's time to vote. Here we are, fully 2 levels of experience in hand, as well as a ballot. I demand to execute my right to vote, to select my own representation, and I have chosen to vote for False. So there we go. You can just put that in there, and I'm guessing it drains. Oh, that's a pretty good... Yeah, that's a pretty good system for ballots. I like that. Now, over here, we have the dog catcher booth, where we can vote for dog catcher. And I'm going to vote for Joe Hills. Because, like, honestly, there's a non-zero chance that nobody will remember to vote over here. And if I don't vote for me, who will? Woo, okay, there we go. We have done it. We have voted. We have exercised our franchise. The next thing to do... Well... Why is this person down here named Vote Stress? They seem disappointed. That's weird. Does everybody have a random person there? Okay, I'm getting distracted. Core concept, the next thing we need to do is go back into the Nether and actually start harvesting materials. I'm probably going to do a series of sorties where as I actually gather things, I run them back here and store them in this box. I have removed everything from my inventory of value, and I am about to press once more into the Nether to gather materials so that we can start improving our base. We've already participated in society. Now it's time to participate in our own futures. One thing I don't know is if these folks here are just patrolling or if they're actually aggressive at me. That one looks aggressive at me. Okay. So, we have many problems. Let's start building a stairwell back inside of here internally. Our initial forays into the Nether have not been particularly successful. Is this guy trying to kill me? What hurt him? Something attacked that guy, and then he got mad, and then he ran away. Is there something over here that hunts people? Or things? It seems like almost every part of this is just going to keep going poorly. But one thing I have seen... I don't even know what that thing is. It's terrifying. It's... scattered visage. Ugh. One thing I've noticed, though, is a lot of people seem to keep overshooting this railing when they fly with the elytra. So you know what? What if we just said, you know what? Why don't we cover this up? Why don't we put some stone here? And then that'll actually allow me to get far enough over here that I can now begin harvesting some of this stuff. That sounds like a win for everybody, you know? So we can just come over here this way and just fill in some of this. Oh, see, this connects to a basalt biome. So there's all sorts of salty goodness over here of the ba and sa varieties. Salt. I don't think that's actually a real product. That's fine. Anyway, what I want to do is kind of just create a general path this way that we can then use to harvest materials relatively close to this portal, because every time I go more than like 8 feet into the Nether, it is my immediate death. Now, 8 feet, for those of y'all on the metric system, means not very far. Last time, I tried walking down these stairs and got immediately attacked again. Then, apparently, these piglins and whatever can come through the portal and attack you when you're in the shopping district. Off camera, I was trying to do some stuff in the shopping district, got attacked by one of these while I was looking at my inventory. So, hopefully, things get better soon, because it is rough out there, folks. Bye-bye, the Nether. I want to look at you, but you terrify me. So as folks climb the stairs here, they won't even really notice that I've blocked this off. This shouldn't be too much of a visual distraction for anyone. But what it does provide is me an opportunity to go start hewing into this wall and collecting some of the materials that I'm going to need for my tower and for my winery. I really wish I had brought literally anything capable of producing light. Please don't get mad at me. Everything in this Nether constantly seems to want me dead. And I'm not... Like, mobs that attack you 100% of the time are easier to deal with in a lot of ways than mobs that attack you occasionally. Because I don't know if I should rush this guy and try to kill him now, or if I should, you know, just, like, hope I'm okay. I have basically harvested out all the blocks behind this wall here, so when we start the actual Nether Hub construction project, folks won't have to remove those. I left the false wall in place for now, you know, out of support for False for Mayor. Speaking of False, another thing she's done that's pretty great today is she started constructing this tunnel to her base. Now, I realize my base is kind of along the same vector, and so once she's the victor, it's going to be a logical thing to celebrate by having a tunnel that also goes my way. Now, this is going to grant me the opportunity to collect more of the blackstone that I need, as well as, you know, get a tunnel. So this is kind of a everybody wins kind of thing, especially False and me in the election. At least that's what I'm hoping. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue to gather all the... Don't walk into me, man. I'm working here. Like, I know in New York, they're always like, I'm walking here. But, like, this is Tennessee. I'm working here. Right? Very industrious people, us Tennesseans. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and Is there a way to combine Mosey and industry? Industrozy? Industmosey? I don't know. I'm going to keep wandering this way. No, I'm not wandering. I'm not meandering. I'm the man with a plan to run through this part of the Nether here. I don't know. We'll worry about it later. That's too close. I will burn myself to death. Anyway, we are going to keep working on this tunnel until it is actually suitable for human travel. Time skip. As I tread around this Tower of Hercules, this lighthouse of Roman ingenuities, I look at this and I think that the windows and the stripes are the two most defining features. Now, that's an external statement. Of course, On the inside of the lighthouse, you actually can't see the stripe because the stripe is represented by the ramps, or it is where the ramps slot in, basically. So what I'm imagining I want to do on the undertower beneath the lighthouse here, using basalt, is going to be to have the ramp continue to generate the same spiral down, but we're going to have to forego the outer visual spiral because there is no such thing as basalt stairs yet. Maybe in the 1.17 update they'll add those, but realistically, we're not there, and we just had to make peace with that. I have started here filling in some of these windows, partially because I wanted to explore what might be a suitable material for the inside of them. There are no basalt walls that would complement the sandstone walls we used in the windows above ground. So I've been using some chains and also some flames because I don't have enough chains to do the whole thing yet, and I don't want mobs spawning in the windows that don't have chains. All of these burning windows are basically huge signs that say, "Hey Joe, go get more chains and put them here." Oh, that one's missing a chain. That's not ideal. Somebody could hurt themselves. But anyway, what we have now is the beginning of an undertower for our lighthouse. It's not perfect, but it is a start, and one that I think is going to, on the whole, kind of carry us through to the point where we can start adding internal details like the ramp and things like that. Now, I do have a few concerns about this design in terms of how it's going to integrate with the water below. Like, realistically, to have this be the same height as the one above, we're actually going to have to dredge out a bunch of this. Now, I mean, we dredged out a whole channel out in the ocean there, so that doesn't have to be the end of the world, but it is going to be a non-trivial amount of work, and so we are going to have to plan accordingly. Now, one thing to note, too, is that the basalt is a directionally placed block, so what you're pointing at when you place it is going to matter. And that's true for both the polished and the non-polished varieties. I had a lot of early mistakes when I was working on this because I hadn't factored that in, and I was putting some of these in sideways. Nope, you got to go straight up and down. And, or at least, like, for these, like, window frames, you have to put them sideways for the lintel and the base. So, as you can see, on the whole, this works out okay. I am out of flame starters. Oh, no, I'm not. There we go. Just go ahead and put a nice little flame there so no mobs spawn. And let's do the same here on this one. There we go. Just anything we can do to stop mobs from spawning inside of here will make the overall construction process a lot more fluid. Speaking of fluidity, you can tell that I just fell into the water there. That was totally intentional because I wanted to fix this other window, not me opportunistically fixing that other window because I fell in the water. You can rewatch the footage again and again. The YouTube algorithm will reward me for that, but you actually don't have to because I clearly did just mess up. So, anyway, here we go again with another window. Not too crazy. We're going to be doing these all the way up this wall and that wall. So why don't we go ahead and have a quick time skip. I've started working on the slabs that I think we'll want to have proceed down this way. I decided against using wood in here, either the netherwood crimson or the netherwood teal. I might come back and try the teal if I can't make this blackstone thing work, but I want to try the blackstone first here. Just as an accent color. I think it's going to go better with the red that we're going to have visible through the windows. But, oh no, it's almost nighttime. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Are we going to have all the mobs attack us? No! I was just about to run down here with my shovel and be like, hey dogs, look, I'm about to create something for you. Dogs, don't be attacking me with mobs. Well, I guess we'll just let the dogs defend us in the night. Alright, dogs. Don't sit down. Guard me. Guard me from all the skeletons. And the path blocks that I didn't mean to place. It's up to you. Okay, great. So what I wanted to do was to swing by over here and start actually putting in soul soil around some of these. Now, I think that that is going to make this have kind of more of an interesting visual appearance. Uh-oh, no, don't go down there, that's full of lava. Okay, well, you'll just teleport back up to me later. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, if we can have this entire kind of area around the path here be soul soil, I think that's really going to do a lot for us visually. I actually am starting to get a little bit worried about mobs. I was sure that another hermit was going to go to bed. But you know what? They're all probably in the nether. So why don't we go ahead? Oh, nope, Grian went to bed. That sleepy, sleepy boy. Good job, Grian. I appreciate your help. with this nap-based emergency. Anyway, so a few other kind of highlights around here that we wanted to do was replace all this with soul soil around this general bone structure here. Basically everything from like here around to here we'll do with soul soil. We might not get to this today, but I'm just kind of trying to outline all of my new plans for the post-116 season. Yeah, so kind of even up through this log maybe. Maybe we just diagonally kind of have like, this is the soul soil area. It's just soul soil all up in here. Boom. There we go. And, you know, actually having some of this mixed in right here would even be cool. Not having too much grass. Yeah, I'm not sure about having that next to the grass. It might need to replace it. But core concept, we have something here that works pretty well. Now, over here, one thing that I also mentioned I wanted to do is I wanted to replace the gray stone bricks on the winery with dark stone bricks. And I've been in process on that. And it works pretty well on the whole from what I can tell. But I think we're going to need to make some other changes too. We can't just replace the facade of this building. This building has a lot of problems that were obvious kind of when I was constructing it. But I wanted to have time to think about them before I followed through on making the changes. Now, obviously, like I said, we are going to want to replace the roof with a better contrasting color. I'm kind of torn. Because I kind of want to have the roof be the teal wood blocks and then have the shutters be the crimson. No, you are a bad monster. You may not interrupt my video. Sorry, I apologize, folks, for that undue disturbance during this architectural overview of our process. And here I am eating with my mouth full again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here we go. Here's what I'm thinking is we use either crimson for the shutters and teal for the roof or vice versa. Also, I realized that in our internal space here, I was really focused on the initial floor plan matching the overall external dimensions of this map in the book Curse of Strahd. But then I had to make a bunch of compromises indoors. Like, there's 2 vats on this side of the stairwell, and there's supposed to be 2 vats on this side. But I couldn't fit them in because of space reasons. So I just made one big one, which it looks okay. I kind of like it. Whoops. I'm not doing a good job of eating. But anyway, yeah, it looks fine, but it doesn't look as fine as it would look if we actually had that right. In addition to the vat issue, this storage room here ended up really cramped, and there were a bunch of things upstairs that we just couldn't really make work the way they worked in the book. In a D&D map book, the walls are basically infinitely thin, whereas in Minecraft, they're always 1 meter. So when you have a bunch of rooms right next to each other, we basically lost 4 meters of space between these rooms, which was really, really unfortunate. And fitting the furniture in here, I've put some notes about like the things we need to put in these. Like 2 bunk beds and 4-foot lockers. This room doesn't even have a window it's supposed to have, because I couldn't make the windows fit with the shutters. So what I'm imagining I'm going to actually do here is I'm going to take this whole wall and just push it out 8 blocks. So we'll take this tower as well, and we'll just move all of this over 8. So the well will go over 8 meters. That'll give us the space we need inside to accommodate everything. Most things on this half of the winery worked out okay, because there's not a lot of internal walls really throwing anything off, or at least not enough of them to make real problems for us. So we can leave the barrel maker's workshop here, its existing size. That's about right. We can leave the barrel storage room the same size. That's fine. Ooh, we are going to want to obviously replace these blocks. I didn't realize that these were going to be visible because they're behind the roof line there, but clearly on the inside of the building, they are visible. Man, I also just have a ton of places here where, like, we had temporary walls because I knew I was going to be replacing all this with the Nether update. If you're like, Joe, I've been wondering why there was just random cobblestone here. Well, that is why. Because none of this was going to stay indefinitely. This was all intended to be pulled up, ripped up, and replaced. So, hurrah, huzzah, hooray, today is the block replacing day. Or at least some of it. We might not get to the whole thing this episode, but I did, in the very least, want to kind of sort out the fundamentals of what this looks like. So we're going to leave this structure, this furnace room, the glassmaker's workshop is going to stay where it was. It's basically just the stuff from this side over that's going to get moved. And we're going to have to replace this path as well. We're going to move this whole tower over to start here. And another change I wanted to make is I decided I don't necessarily love having the towers both be the same heights as each other. The book isn't really explicit about that. Let me see if I can find a place that I can ender pearl to where you'd really have a good look at it. But like, just kind of as I was considering the building, I think it would have a lot more character if one of the towers was taller than the other. Since I'm going to be rebuilding one of the towers completely from scratch, I'm going to probably make the one that is new, the one that's taller. And having them kind of be lopsided a little bit, I think, will just give it some character, make it more visually appealing. I mean, yeah, like, I'm looking at it now, and we definitely cannot keep the nether brick roof if we're going to have the dark stone as the outer wall. That is just not going to be a viable plan. Contrast is really what's going to make this build impossible. I had initially considered trying to do this in such a way that we would bring out the second floor, but leave the porch the exact same size it is now. And let me tell you something about porches that support the second floor. That made sense until I realized that meant that the second floor would just go out to about here, and then there'd be no porch underneath it. So we have to move the well 8 blocks over too. Like, a lot of this digging and building and relocating is going to be the sort of basic stuff that I can do without taking too much of y'all's time. If we just take advantage of a little thing I like to call a time skip. As you can see here, we have gotten some of that warped nether wart in place. I'm pretty happy with how it looks, but really, until we get the whole thing done, it's not going to look right. We know that, but we are out of time for this episode. So you may have noticed that this episode was mid-roll ad-free. That's thanks to $50 a month Patreon sponsor Alex White. In lieu of that mid-roll ad, I will now read a poem of my own devising. The parking lot for the hidden lake is a mile north of the interstate, just past the Veterans Cemetery. Wind a mile further or so, past the map at the entrance that doesn't show the newest connecting trails, past the roofless cinderblock farmhouse with trees grown up through its dirty floor, up and over the concrete dance floor poured during Prohibition that overlooks the graveless lawns that hopefully filled the outskirts of the cemetery, and beyond the empty train car that someone must have hauled up here as a joke, or on a dare, or as part of the scheme to conceal consumption of liquors untaxed and unlawful. And there is the hidden lake. Cut stone walls sheer up from a quarry missing a lake's worth of rock, and the muddy trail around invites infoliaged visitors to appreciate it from each side. Is this a legacy? Things taken and took from nature, reclaimed and repurposed? Is this vacation pit more impressive than all the blocks that were taken from it and have since crumbled? There are no plaques riveted to the benches extolling, "Look upon my works, ye leisurely, and relax." Though the stapled paper at the trailhead warns in laminate, valuables must not be left in vehicles. The stewards of this place have seen things taken, and this place is open to the sky. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.